Hey everyone, ready to dive in. We're tackling leadership today. Big topic, right? We're basing this deep dive on the article you all shared. 22 essential leadership qualities you can't afford to miss. And wow, that title alone, right? Should be interesting.
It's a lot to live up to, that's for sure. But yeah, this list is serious business. It really gets at how leadership isn't about what your job title is, but the actual qualities you bring to the table.
I love that. Getting
Yeah.
real right from the start. And this article seems to break it all down in a smart way. So, huge topic, leadership. Where do we even begin?
Well, they start with the foundation, the bedrock. The first few qualities they list are integrity, communication, accountability, then vision and self-awareness. Those are kind of the base.
Yeah, those sound super familiar. Obviously, those are important, but want to dig in a little deeper. Let's take integrity. It's one thing to say it, but how does that actually play out? What impact does that have, really?
Okay, so put it this way. Would you trust a leader who doesn't actually do what they say they will? Or someone who takes credit for other people's work?
No way. Trust is huge, and to get that, you've got to earn it. Integrity seems like a big part of that, for sure.
Exactly. And actually, the article gives a great example. A leader messed up, her project totally failed. But instead of blaming her team or anything, she took the responsibility herself.
Wow.
Yeah, and the article said that actually made her team respect her even more because she was honest, even when it was hard. People could count on that.
That's powerful. So it's about being someone people can count on no matter what.
Yeah.
Builds that foundation.
And that goes right into the next quality on the list.
Right.
Communication. Because what good is being a person of integrity if you can't communicate that clearly, right?
So true. It's a two-way street, too. Not
Mhm.
just talking to people, but really making sure everyone feels heard, that open dialogue thing.
Yes. And you need accountability with that, too. You can't just talk. You got to walk the walk. Clear expectations, and everyone's responsible for sticking to them.
Okay, so we've got integrity, communication, accountability.
Yeah.
What about vision? Where does that fit in?
Vision is all about, having that clear picture of the future, where you're going as a team, why it matters. Without it, you just get lost in the day-to-day, those little details. Vision is the bigger picture.
So it's like a leader with strong vision can inspire their team to do something even bigger than themselves.
Yes, precisely. Motivating. Right. But here's the thing. Vision is even stronger when it's paired with self-awareness.
Ooh, interesting. Tell me more about that.
So get this. The article mentions that, get this, only 1 in 5 managers actually know their own strengths and weaknesses.
Wait, seriously? Only 1 in 5? I would have thought it was way higher than that.
Right. It's kind of shocking. Shows how important self-awareness really is to be a good leader.
Because if you don't even know your own strengths, how can you use them? Or if you don't know your weaknesses, how can you improve? Makes total sense.
Yeah, it's like you need that awareness to know what you're bringing to the table, figure out where to go from there.
So self-awareness, got to have it. But how do you go from knowing yourself to actually being a good leader, putting it all into action?
Right, you got to walk the walk, and that's what this next batch of qualities is all about. You ready? Decision-making, empowerment, creativity, motivation, and of course, courage.
Okay, I like it. It's like we've got the foundation. Now we're building, actually making things happen.
Exactly. And it starts with, like you said, decisions. A leader who can make good decisions confidently, even when things are uncertain, so valuable.
Totally. But once you make that decision, how do you get everyone else on board? Get them pumped to actually do it.
You're talking empowerment. This was a big one in the article. It's not just telling people what to do. It's letting them own it. Giving them the power to do it their way, giving them what they need.
So less micromanaging, more trusting your people to get it done.
100%. Set those expectations, then step back, let them shine. That kind of trust, super motivating.
Sometimes stepping back like that, letting go of a little control, that takes courage, right?
Yeah.
Especially when there's pressure to do things a certain way.
You got it. That's where courage comes in. And like we were saying, not about being totally fearless, but about taking smart risks, speaking up even when it's hard.
So maybe not fearless, more like fear aware. Like the fear is there, but you don't let it stop you from doing what needs to be done.
Love that. And there's this example in the article. It's really something. This leader, she saw a better way to do a project, totally different from how the company usually did things.
Bold.
Right. It would have been easier to just go with the flow, but she had to speak up. She had the courage to fight for that new direction, even though, some people pushed back at first.
I bet that kind of courage is contagious. You know? Like when your leader is that all in, it makes you want to step up your game too.
Totally. And if you add a good dose of creativity on top of that, things get really interesting. Because creativity isn't just about being like super artsy or whatever. It's about finding new ways to solve problems that haven't been solved before.
So we've got the basics, we've got the action part,
Yeah.
and now it feels like we're getting into like what makes a leader really stand out, that authenticity, being able to adapt.
Yes. This next set of qualities, they're about being genuine, rolling with the punches, and getting other people to do the same. So we're adding to our list. Transparency, innovation, passion, problem solving, and influence.
Wow. Okay, lots to unpack there. Let's start with transparency. What does that even mean for a leader?
Being real with your team, even when it's hard. Admitting when you don't know something. Sharing the good and the bad news. Letting them see how you make decisions.
And being that open, that actually makes you a better leader.
It can, because it shows you're human, not some robot, You're real, and you trust your team enough to be real with them.
That whole being genuine thing, that's huge. People can spot a fake a mile away, and it kills trust.
Yep. And that's why passion is so powerful. When you really care about what you're doing, and you're always looking for ways to improve, to innovate, that energy, it rubs off on people.
Yeah, man. Speaking of passion, this reminds me of this one project. It was a hot mess, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Deadlines were crazy. The client was not happy. Morale was in the toilet.
Oof, sounds stressful.
It was. But our team leader, she was amazing. Totally calm, always positive, always finding ways to motivate us, even when things were falling apart. And you know what? It worked. We not only met that deadline, we crushed it.
See, the power of passion. It's contagious. She believed in what you all were doing, and she got you to believe it too. Sounds like she's also a master problem solver, which is another one of those key qualities.
Oh, for sure. Always 10 steps ahead, like a mind reader. But also, she was so good at getting everyone on the same page. Team, the client, everyone. She could influence people, make them see her vision.
That's huge because, like we were talking about before, real leadership isn't about just being the boss. It's about inspiring people to act, building those relationships, understanding where everyone's coming from. That's how you get people to want to follow you, not because they have to, but because they believe in what you're doing.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. The qualities that lay the foundation, the ones that get things moving, the ones that make a leader really shine. What's the final piece, that brings it all home?
It's about building a team, not just any team, but one that's strong, resilient. Because at the end of the day, leadership isn't about going solo. It's about empowering the people around you.
Makes sense. But I'm guessing it's more than just like hiring a bunch of talented people and hoping for the best.
Way more. You got to create the right environment, a place where everyone feels valued, respected, supported. That's where these last qualities come in. Ready for the list?
Hit me.
Okay, so adaptability, empathy, flexibility, delegation, respect, gotta have that, learning agility, and finally, gratitude.
I like it. These last few, they feel different somehow. Less about like specific things to do and more about how you show up as a leader. You know what I mean? The vibes.
100%. It's about that human connection. Think about the best leaders you work with, the ones who really got you going. They probably made you feel seen, heard, like you mattered.
For sure. So much easier to do your best work when you know it's appreciated. But, okay, let's break it down a bit. Adaptability, for example. What does that look like in the real world? Because plans change. Stuff happens, especially these days.
Oh yeah, all the time, right. Being adaptable means you can roll with those punches. You can change course when you need to. In fact, you see those changes as opportunities, not disasters.
Right, got to stay flexible.
Exactly. Don't get so stuck in your ways that you miss a chance to do something even better. And that takes empathy too, by the way.
There it is. Knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Being able to actually understand where your team is coming from, what they need, especially when things get tough.
It's everything. Putting yourself in their shoes, creating that safe space where they can speak their mind, share ideas, even mess up without feeling judged. That's huge.
That psychological safety thing, that's how you build a team that can handle anything. And that makes me think about delegation too, right? Because if you're trying to do everything yourself as the leader, you're not only going to burn out, you're also not letting your team really step up.
You got it. Delegation is all about giving your team the chance to grow, to build their own skills. Let them take charge, let them make decisions, even if it means they stumble a bit along the way. That's how you learn.
And that goes back to respect, doesn't it? If you don't trust your team to handle those challenges, you're not going to delegate effectively.
Totally. Respect is the baseline for any good relationship, and that includes the ones you have with your team and work. It's about treating everyone with that basic dignity, recognizing what they bring to the table, and it ties into creating a culture where learning is celebrated, you know? Mistakes, they're not the enemy, they're how we grow.
So important, especially nowadays. Things change so fast, it's not just about what you know right now, but how quickly you can pick up new things.
Being open to that learning, being agile. And that brings us to the final quality on our list, gratitude.
You know, it's funny you say that because I feel like gratitude is so often overlooked, especially at work. But when a leader expresses it genuinely, total game changer.
It really is. And you know, the article actually gives a good example of this. There was this one leader, they made it a point to show their appreciation all the time, writing thank you notes, praising people publicly for their wins, the small stuff.
I love that. Doesn't have to be some big grand gesture, right?
Yeah,
It's about those little things done consistently that show your team you see them, you appreciate them.
exactly. And those little things, they make a world of difference. People feel good. They want to work harder, which means there's even more to be grateful for. It's like this awesome cycle.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, this whole conversation about these 22 qualities, it's not like a checklist you have to tick off, right? It's more like a journey. It's about becoming a better leader every single day and building a team that can achieve anything.
Perfectly said. This isn't about being perfect. No one is. It's about trying, putting in the effort to embody these qualities, to create that environment where everyone can thrive.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's not about the title on your business card. It's about the impact you have. Inspiring people, helping them unlock their own potential. That's what leadership is all about. Thanks for being here, everyone.